Hey there, everybody. Jessie Mundell here. I'm just going to get us set up here on Instagram too. Hey, Instagram. Hello, Facebook. We are live. I'm hoping that my connection lasts for us through this okay. We are on vacation right now in Florida, and it's super hot in this room. I should have turned a fan on or something. So I wanted to talk about body image and pregnancy, and specifically what I am noticing this time, second pregnancy, for myself, and the differences that exist from this to my first pregnancy when I was pregnant 3 years ago. Hi! Cool, so awesome to see you joining in. Again, hopefully the connection lasts for us. The internet's a little bit funky, so we'll see how far we get. So body image and pregnancy. This time around, I'm noticing that I have to do different mindset work and more consistent mindset work in terms of the changes that I am experiencing in my body right now in pregnancy, and also thinking further ahead to postpartum. This was something I did in my first pregnancy with my daughter Steele as well. My prep in pregnancy was so much for my prep for so much of how I was going to handle postpartum well and all the changes that would come for my body at that time. So my first pregnancy, I didn't really look pregnant for a long time, honestly. Probably I could have hit it until close to the third trimester. At this stage, I'm about 23, 24 weeks now, and I look like how I looked with Steele at maybe 34, 35 weeks. So things just skyrocketed very quickly in this pregnancy. My body responded fast. I feel like this baby is just bigger in general. My body knew what to do. It had done this before, so things got faster, quicker. And not just in my belly specifically, but my whole body in general. I've just noticed more body fat. My boobs feel massive this time. My hips and my booty feels bigger, so it's just kind of like my whole body feels bigger in general this time. Much faster than it did in my pregnancy with Steele. Hi, love to see your names joining on here. So in my pregnancy with Steele, it was almost that I was convincing and telling myself that it was okay to be small. It was okay to carry small. I was doing everything perfectly fine. Baby was healthy. I got a lot of comments that I was small. Is there even a baby in there? Are you gaining enough weight? From outsiders, not from my healthcare professionals. I know a lot of you have probably had similar experiences with comments coming at your body in pregnancy that can be frustrating and uncomfortable to manage and handle. So that was my experience with pregnancy number one with Steele. I was smaller, I was carrying smaller. She was a small baby. It was just how my body responded to that pregnancy. I was convincing myself, lots of mindset work around how smallness in pregnancy was okay. This pregnancy, I have to do much more work on embracing the bigness of pregnancy and the bigness that will persist postpartum and maybe forever, and that will be okay too. But it's different mindset work, because this body is bigger, and I know that the bigness will persist longer in postpartum likely, and like I said again, it might just persist forever, and I have to be okay with that. So it's not a safe place for me in this pregnancy to think about it's okay to be big right now, it's okay to be big in early postpartum, but then I'll get smaller again. That's not an okay place for me to allow my mindset to go. Long history of body image dysmorphia, eating disorder history, used exercise and food as a tool to make my body smaller or want to make my body smaller for years and years. So it's not an okay place for me mentally to go to think about fat loss down the road. I have to be in this place of mindset work where I'm constantly reminding myself that the bigness is fine, the fat is fine, less muscle is fine, more muscle is fine. Whatever the case might be during this pregnancy and during that postpartum time period, I can't let my mind go to getting smaller again or convincing myself that I will be smaller again. I just have to be okay with bigness. That is the only way that I can live fully in my body right now, and then once this baby is born too. I hope that makes sense. I just think that we see this idea often that it's okay to be big in pregnancy. Your body is doing all the right things. You'll lose the weight postpartum. It's gonna be fine. That's not an okay message for me to give to myself or to give to others too. The reality is in many cases that our bodies will remain at a bigger size postpartum for a certain amount of time, forever and ever. And I need to be okay with that. In order to live fully in my body, I need to be okay with that. This means that I need to figure out what my discomfort is with fat, with bigness, with more fat on my body. It's a constant quest for me to keep checking myself and checking my ideas around bigness and fatness, and just keep asking myself why, uncovering the layers all the time to see if that discomfort is still there and still present for me. And I can tell you that this pregnancy has been given to me for so many reasons, and that is one of those reasons, because I have noticed thoughts come up where I am uncomfortable in the bigness of my body and thinking about how much bigger it is going to get. I've noticed thoughts come up. Is this baby growing at a fast rate, at a too fast rate? Am I eating too many carbohydrates? Should I be moving my body more? I'm just noticing these thoughts and patterns from years back that start to creep in a little bit, and so I have to work hard to push them out of the way. And again, not just for right now, but for an enjoyable postpartum period too. I can't allow those thoughts to dwell, and I have to work hard to move past them quickly. So I'm not judging those thoughts when they come. Fine experience to have them becoming really normal for me and the past decades of my life and all the work I've done to move out of those thoughts. Really normal for them to come up. But for me, it's important to check them quickly, ask myself why, what is the discomfort that I'm finding in them, and move on from them. One more thing that I want to mention. Thin privilege. I feel like I was definitely benefiting from thin privilege during my first pregnancy, and likely this time around too. I think that I likely had an easier time adapting to the changes that I was experiencing with my body in pregnancy number 1, because my body really was smaller for quite a long period of time. Of course, I got nice and big and round at the end, but my body was quite small in pregnancy for a long time, and it returned to a smaller size pretty quickly postpartum as well. I didn't focus on fat loss at all postpartum with Steele, and my body just kind of returned to size, pre-pregnancy size, pretty quickly. Not to pre-pregnancy size. I was still carrying probably 10-ish, who knows? I have no idea what the actual number was. 10 pounds more body fat, maybe 15 at the time I got pregnant, but my body did get smaller without effort. I have to remind myself that that is likely not an experience that I'm going to have this time postpartum after baby number 2. I could, but I need to be mentally set up to know that that just might not happen. It just might not happen. And again, I'm not going to a place mentally where I'm thinking about all the things I could do postpartum in order to make my body smaller again. We're not going there. We're not going to go there. Fat loss can be a fine goal for people. It is not a fine goal for me to be thinking about postpartum. It's just not. I know myself and I know my history, and it is not a safe place for me to go. Maybe it will be someday. This is why I don't coach fat loss, because I would make myself mentally and emotionally sick from it. So I think that those are, let me just check my notes. Mom brain in full effect. Those are the big things that I want to talk about. Really embracing all of the stuff, doing our best to embrace all the stuff that is happening during pregnancy, to enjoy this time as much as possible. And truthfully, I'm not enjoying this pregnancy as much as I did the first time around. Just so tired. Pregnancy with a 2.5-year-old is a tougher experience for sure. Knowing that I want to enjoy it as much as I can, this will be the last time I will be pregnant, but also knowing that I want to be in postpartum when I get to that place too, and not wishing my time away from that, even though I know that it will be difficult, it will be uncomfortable, but I don't want to wish that time period away. So how can I be in my body and feel as good as possible in my body to be able to connect with this new motherhood experience all over again at that time, and just to enjoy the transition that this body has gone through over the last 4 years now. It's done a lot of things, and a lot of things that I really deeply appreciate it for and will continue to appreciate it for. And I'm always reminding myself that the constant is change. The constant is that my body will keep shifting. The goal is not to keep it static and in one size and in one composition and to be able to lift this much weight or to run this fast if I ever ran. That is not the goal. I know that the constant is change, and there will be flux, and it will continue to shift. So that, my friends, is what I want to find comfort in at this time, postpartum, and then forever and ever as I continue on down the road from there. I think that's everything. Awesome. Love seeing your comments. I will check in with them later for sure. Thank you so much for tuning in. We will get this up on the blog, so if you want to refer back to it, you'll be able to watch it again.